Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga, and today's Yin Yoga class, which is about all of the koshas. If you've been following along with me in March and April, you know that we have 5 koshas, and today we're going to wrap them all together, and I'd like you to start laying down on your back. If that's not comfortable for you, you can also be seated in easy seat as I am. And just take a moment to really feel the support of your mat underneath you. Notice any sounds and then let them drift away. Notice what's around you, maybe the 4 walls, and let that become unfocused. If it's comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes now. We'll begin this practice with a body scan. To bring your attention to your feet and silently to yourself, tell them relax. Move up your legs, up the calves, to the knees. Notice what you're feeling here and tell them to relax. Moving further on up your upper legs into your hips. Just notice any tension you may be holding onto in your hips and let that relax. Moving up through your abs and your back, your chest. Let it all just sink deeper down. Take your attention to your hands, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, your upper arms, and your shoulders. Noticing anywhere you're holding on to tension. And see if you can just let that tension melt away. And finally take your attention to your neck, your jaw, your eyes, your forehead, your whole head. Let it sink deeper into the mat if you're laying on it, allowing everything to smooth out and soften. And continue sitting or laying, the eyes closed if they are. We'll begin Dirga breath, which you may know as 3-part breath. And begin by breathing into your belly. You may even want to take your hand there, or maybe both hands. And then you will breathe into your ribs, the sides of your ribs. It can help to take your hands there. I like to practice this laying on the mat. Actually, I do this first thing in the morning in bed because I can really feel my ribs expanding on the inhale. And finally, bring that breath up into your chest, near your heart. And let's begin. Inhale into the belly, into the ribs, into your chest, and exhale from the chest to your ribs, to your belly. Inhale into your belly, and then into the side ribs, into the chest, your heart area, and then out from the chest, out from the ribs. Ribs come back together, and belly draws back as you complete your exhale. And just continue on like that for a few moments and tell you a little bit about our practice today as you're enjoying this time in your Pranamaya Kosha. We've moved on from our Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, into our Pranamaya Kosha. And I'm going to offer you the affirmation in your Pranamaya Kosha. I allow my breath to calm my body and my mind. So today I want you to think about all of the koshas. And they're actually not separate. So we don't really work on our body and then work on our breath and then work on our mind. They're all intertwined together. And I'd like you to think about your body, mind, and spirit. Same thing. Sometimes when we work on our body, we affect the mind. Sometimes when we work on the spirit, we affect the mind. They're all intertwined, they're all woven together. And today we will also be working a little bit on our kidney and bladder meridians. I didn't sequence this particular practice on any particular meridian, but that's just the way it worked out. And that really works well because that helps to decrease worry. And when we're worried, we can't be blissful. And that is the ultimate goal of our koshas. Now let go of your breath. Just let it come back to normal without forcing it. And whether you're sitting or laying down, begin to blink your eyes open. If you're sitting and you're not sitting up on something, I really invite you to come sit up on something. A block, a bolster as I am, some blankets. I'm going to grab my blocks for our next pose. We are moving into our Annamaya Kosha, which is our mental body, and that is our thoughts and our emotions. So go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall out to either side. You can always take those blocks, put them underneath your thighs like this to allow the muscles to relax. Otherwise, you can take them onto your feet and then take one on top of that, and eventually maybe your forehead will get down on these blocks. We'll see how it goes today. The affirmation for your Pranamaya Kosha is, my mind is like a still lake. And I'd like you to ask yourself, have you found, since we've moved through the body scan, through our breath, is your mind beginning to calm down? Is that lake that represents you, body, mind, and spirit, beginning to slow down and mirror off? And we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. An invitation to close your eyes, and also an invitation to set your own intention for this practice. And beginning just sitting upright. Making any adjustments you need as we come into the pose. And then begin to just let your head be heavy and point down towards the floor or your mat. And maybe you need to change the orientation of your block. Maybe it needs to be like this on its highest level. And maybe that's where you start out. Do you notice when you allow your body and your breath to be calm, that your mind begins to slow down? It may or may not. Nothing is right or wrong, it just is. And continue to notice your breath in this position. Is it deep and smooth? Or is it choppy like a choppy lake? And if you're using blocks, maybe you take them down onto the floor. Maybe your head reaches them better that way. And of course, you don't need to be using blocks at all. Notice what your mind does as we're nearing the end of the hold of butterfly pose. If this is very challenging for you, is your mind beginning to be active? Is it talking to you, telling you, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't hold on? What would it take to quiet that mind? And then slowly take your hands to the floor or mat, raising your forehead up off of your blocks, if you've been using them, placing them off towards the side, asking yourself if your mind is like a still lake, and take your feet out in front of you, maybe lean back against a wall if you have it. If not, take your hands behind you so you can lean back. Let your knees just come in towards each other for a few breaths. And slowly coming off of whatever you may be sitting on, turn to face the short end of your mat. You can use your bolster for our next pose, which is supported bridge pose, in which case you have it horizontally across the mat, and you would come in front of it and sit on it and slowly lower yourself down onto your elbows. I'm going to demonstrate supported bridge pose using a block today. And if you're not using the bolster, keep it nearby. You may want it for our next pose. And in supported bridge pose, we're going to get into our Annamaya Kosha, which is our wisdom body. So however feels right to you, lay down on your back. If you're using the block, go ahead and press into your feet and lift your hips up and place it underneath those hips. And we're just going to begin this way. It has a block on the lowest level. And there is an option, see if I can do that, to take your hands behind your head straight back, or if you have room and want to, you can also bring your hands into goalpost arms. Our affirmation for the Pranamaya Kosha is I have all the knowledge I need inside of me. As you're laying in supported bridge, take your attention to the space between your eyebrows, your third eye, the seat of our inner wisdom, our connection to universal intelligence, the space where we get downloads from the universe when we are open to it, when we have quieted that mind, when we have softened and relaxed the body and paid attention to our emotions. If you are on the block as I am, you have the option now. Take your feet a little closer, raise your hips again, and raise your block to the medium height. And it's perfectly okay to stay on the lowest level. There's also an option to once again lift your hips, take the block, put it on the highest height underneath your hips. That's a bit much for me, so I'm not going to do that today. If you have changed to the highest height, I'm going to suggest changing back down to the medium height. Now a couple more minutes here. And then in this final minute, go ahead and change from that medium height back down to the lowest height. Maybe take your hands by your hips. Just completely relax. I have all the knowledge I need inside of me. The last couple breaths. Go ahead and lift your hips and slide the block out and just pause for a moment. Maybe stretch your legs out and let them open. Let your arms come out to your sides, a little mini Savasana. Maybe feeling some tingling, Maybe feeling some energy moving throughout your body. And then slowly roll over to one side and begin to walk your body upright. Moving into our last pose, I'm going to make a few suggestions here. We're moving into our Ananadamaya Kosha. So, in other words, our bliss body. Remember, bliss is your birthright. And I'm going to suggest supported wide-kneed child pose using a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can take a couple blocks and put blankets over them. I'm going to use a bolster today. Now, you have a couple of options. I know for many people, child's pose just isn't really comfortable, and I want you to find a position, a posture that just makes you smile, makes you come out of class feeling blissful, okay? So I'm going to throw out a couple of suggestions, and you're free to do the posture that you'd like to do. So I'm going to do one wide-kneed child's pose on the bolster. You could do happy baby. You could also do wind pose, where you bring your knees into your chest. So I'm setting up this. If you're in wind pose, you can also do half wind pose, where you bring one knee into the chest at a time, in which case you're laying on your back, go for full wind pose and half wind pose. And because I'm doing wide-kneed child's pose on the bolster, I'll be changing the orientation of the cheek that's on the bolsters, and I'll let you know when it's time to change legs. Same thing with happy baby. If happy baby isn't blissful, the full happy baby isn't blissful for you, you can do one leg at a time, and maybe that's blissful for you. Like I said, you can substitute a completely different posture. In fact, another option I will throw out there is banana asana, if you're familiar with that. A lot of people really, really love banana asana, where you're taking your shoulders towards one edge of the mat, bringing your hips to the other side, and then bringing your feet to the end. You're making a banana shape or a half crescent shape. Okay, let's get into this pose. Bliss is my birthright. So taking knees wide apart and toes facing, and then coming down, I'm bringing my right cheek to the bolster to start with, and closing my eyes. And just really soften into this, whichever posture you've chosen. Make it as blissful as you possibly can. And I'm just keeping an eye on the time. Legs up on the wall is another good choice. And as you just relax into this pose, maybe ask yourself, how does my body feel now? And what's the difference from when I began this practice? How does my mind feel? Same question. And how does my spirit feel? Same question. What's the difference between now and when you began this practice? And wherever you are, if you need to change legs, you can go ahead and do so now. And if you're
with me on the child's pose on the bolster, go ahead and take your cheek in the other direction. Bliss is my birthright. And go ahead and bring your palms back towards your body if you're in child's pose. If you're already laying on your back, just remain there. Just press into the palms to raise your body off of the bolster. And then move into Savasana slowly and gently, grabbing whatever props will make it blissful for you. And we're going to do a really short Yoga Nidra before we move into full Shavasana. Yoga Nidra just translates as yogic sleep. So it's not meditation, but it is a form of deep relaxation. So come into laying on your back and or whatever position feels comfortable and safe for you. Close your eyes if that feels safe. If not, let them become unfocused, maybe gazing at the tip of your nose. And I'm just going to mention a body part, and you're just going to take your attention to it, and that is it. Your right eyebrow. Your right eye. Your right ear. Your right nostril. Your right shoulder. Your right upper arm. Your right elbow. Your right forearm. Your right wrist. Your right hand. Your right thumb, your right index finger, your right middle finger, your right ring finger, and your right pinky finger. Top of the right hand, palm of the right hand, the right arm, the right shoulder, the right nostril, the right ear, the right eye, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, the left eye, the left ear, the left nostril, the left shoulder, the left upper arm, the left elbow, the left forearm, the left wrist, the left hand, the left thumb, the left index finger, the left middle finger, the left ring finger, the left pinky finger, top of the left hand, palm of the left hand, left arm, left shoulder, left nostril, left ear, the left eye, the left eyebrow. And now mentally imagine breathing in on the left side, up and over your head and down your back. And the same on the right side. So full breath in, coming up and over your head and then down your back on the right. Full breath in on the left. Full breath on the right. Full breath on the left. Full breath on the right. And now just relax. Let your breathing return to normal. As we relax a little bit into Savasana, I hope that by now you're really feeling blissful and calm and renewed. And just lay still until you hear my voice again. Begin to sink a little lower into your mat. Feeling safe and secure in your body. Allow your breath to deepen. Notice any thoughts and emotions that may bubble up from this practice. Now next inhale, take your hands up towards your sky or over your head. Big long stretch as if you're just waking up in the morning. And then exhale to bring them back down. Bring your soles of your feet to the mat, bending your knees if you're laying down. The eyes closed if that's comfortable. Slowly rolling onto one side. Bringing your knees towards your chest into a fetal position. Bottom arm reaches out on the mat, cradling your head. Take a few deep breaths here. Thinking for the last time on your intention, or perhaps my intention that I offered. It's always just an offering. About how when we quiet our body, we are able to quiet our mind. And when our mind is quiet, our spirit feels blissful. and how it's all just intertwined together. Slowly push into your hands, walking them back towards your body, bringing your torso upright, coming into an easy seat with the eyes still closed if they've been closed. Press the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. Elbows flare out to either side. Head bows over your hands. And just begin to rub them back and forth, bringing yourself into the present moment. The hands come to stillness, slowly blinking your eyes open, taking in the floor, and raising your head with, I really hope, a smile on your face. I really designed this practice to be very blissful. I hope that you found it so. If you enjoyed this practice, go ahead and click the like button, and I thank you for that. If you want to practice with me again, go ahead and click the subscribe button, click the bell. You can also join the private Facebook group underneath in the description box. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. And may you be blissful. Have a wonderful, blissful day or night, and thank you so much for joining me.